2.
Hey y'all, hey, Erica and Jason with Time to Shrink.
Time to drink?
No.
Oh.
That's not how the entrance goes.
Oh, I don't know.
Alright. Hey y'all, hey, it's Erica and Jason with Time to Shrink. And it's time to drink. Tonight we're making an old fashioned. We're going to teach you how to make a low carb or keto old fashioned. Well, Jason's going to give you a little bit of a history lesson because it's just him. It's built in. So I'm going to sit down and let him chat for a second.
All right, so the old fashioned is the original whiskey cocktail, I guess you could say. It's the first cocktail, at least in the United States, that the recipe was written down for, and it was really simple. It was sugar, water, bitters, alcohol, and a lemon twist for a garnish. We're going to use orange. You can really use, and the thing about the old fashioned is you can do it with any liquor you want. The story behind it is, so it starts right at the beginning of the 1800s. It's the first cocktail, and then all the other cocktails start getting made, and they're like fruity and they're fun, and everybody's ordering those. And then right before the start of the Civil War, people would go into bars and they would want the whiskey cocktail, and they would say, I want a cocktail, the old-fashioned kind. And so that's where the term old-fashioned came from. It's the old-fashioned type of cocktail. But the recipe really is alcohol, water, bitter, sugars, and a garnish of some sort of citrus. You're really supposed to use sugar cubes, because back then you would definitely get sugar. It would be in a cube form. You want about a teaspoon of sugar. I think what you make is a quarter. So you're going to explain, I think, how to make these.
So like if you see, like at the bar, if you see your bartender making your old fashioned, they always put these little sugar cubes in the bottom, and then they muddle that.
Right, with the bitters.
With the bitters, that's right.
And it's really just easier to deliver the bitters, like concentrate the bitters onto the actual cube.
So what we were starting to think was, how are we gonna make an old fashioned low carb or keto, because we can't make a sugar cube. I've never seen a low carb sugar cube. Well, I had this little guy, y'all.
Which is really nice.
Which is an ice cube tray that I got at Target, but I also found them on Amazon, so I will link it down below for sure. But what I did was I took this Lecanto monk fruit golden. Oftentimes the sugar cubes are made with that less refined sugar that has the darker color, right? Or what I figured out, I just experimented, is I took the Lecanto golden and I took some water, and I just like super slowly put a little bit of water, and stirred it until it was kind of like grainy, like sand, but not like wet to the point where it was melting, okay? So I just kept doing that, and then I poured it into this tray and spread it out. I just used like a leveler and then filled every little piece of this tray full. And then what I did was just let it sit. You just need to let it sit for like a day or two. And eventually, when I checked on it, they were super, super hard, like hard as a rock.
You can't even squeeze and break them like it.
I made these like 3 weeks ago probably, and like I'm squeezing this as hard as I can, and it's not breaking. If you would like to make your own sugar cubes to do an old fashioned at home and make it a keto low carb version, this is a really, really easy way to do it. If you don't want to go through all that trouble, you can just use like a packet.
A packet gives you about 2 drinks usually when I make it.
So like half a pack of, they sell this on Amazon, the Lecanto monk fruit golden, or whatever kind of sugar substitute you want. You would just put that in there with the bitters. We wanted to try and make it like as an exact, we wanted to replicate the experience the best that we could. I was super excited when that worked. Okay.
Yeah, so was I. It was really cool.
This is a super, super simple cocktail, but figuring this out made us decide that we wanted to go ahead and share this with y'all.
Originally, whiskey was the original cocktail here, and we like a Jameson Irish whiskey if you want to do it with whiskey, but we're,
I like it with my basil.
Erica likes it with bourbon.
I love this stuff.
I like to make it with scotch. Don't let people tell you that you're doing something wrong. An old fashioned is alcohol, sugar, water, bitters, and a garnish, okay? So make it however you want. I would suggest getting a good alcohol for it, because you're only really drinking the alcohol.
Okay.
All right, so let's build our old fashioned. All right, so again, the idea behind the sugar cube is it just gives you a more concentrated way to hit your bitters on there. So you put whatever you want, 3, 4, 10 drops of bitter, whatever you like, onto your sugar. And then you're just gonna kind of muddle that together. You're gonna try to get it kind of all mixed up. You're trying to get it wet. You can use, and like I said, you can use whatever.
Yeah, I like this one. It's called smoked chili bitters. I love this one. I do some different bourbon smashes that are kind of like an old fashioned, taking a few more steps, and I love these.
And like we said, if you don't have sugar cube or you haven't made the sugar cubes, use just sweetener. It's fine. You just put your bitters on the sugar. You can still muddle it up, mix it up. You want it to be a little bit wet there. All right, so now you're gonna add your alcohol. We're gonna use the bourbon because that's what Erica likes.
Basil Hayden.
Basil Hayden, so we're gonna use the bourbon. Again, a shot of alcohol, like a serving of alcohol is 1.5 ounces. I like to go about 2 ounces here, and I'll tell you why. Not because I'm trying to get anybody drunk. I'll explain that. It'll make sense here in a little bit. But you're gonna put your bourbon into the glass now. Now, what I like to do at this point, this is like a keto trick, I think, okay? I like to give it a little stir right now because I don't think the Lacanta dissolves as well. So I like to give it a little stir before the ice, and this is all part of how I think you have to build the drink. So I like to give it a little stir, let the sugar start to mix up there without the ice in the glass. Now I'm gonna get an ice cube while I'm doing that. Erica's gonna rim the glass with an orange peel.
So what I like to do, y'all, is take kind of a long peel of the orange, and then I twist it, make it twisty so it's going to be pretty, and this also releases the oils, and then you just kind of take it and go all the way around your glass, and then you just set it on your glass like that. It serves like that. It's really, really pretty, and then when somebody's ready to drink it, they can just knock that over into their drink, and it adds to the experience.
All right, so now I'm gonna put the ice into the glass, and this is kind of tricky. There we go. I like to use the one big cube, and it's part of the story here. So now you're gonna give it just a little bit of a stir. You want the water to mix with the bourbon, but you don't want it to be perfect when you serve it. Think of it like a bell curve, right? And so if you serve it at its peak, then your drink's always degrading as you drink it. So you wanna leave it a little bit not quite perfect when you serve it. That way, when you're holding the glass in your hand's warming the ice, it's melting. You give it a little swirl before every time you drink it. It helps mix up the sugar, mix up the water. After about 4 or 5 sips, you'll have the perfect cocktail. So you stay on that bell curve of a perfect cocktail a little bit.
He's been talking too long. I need to taste it.
It's important. It really is.
It's the teacher in him. We got to talk about the bell curve.
It's really important. You'll trust me.
It's so good.
Don't give it too big of a stir. With the ice in it, it gets better, it matures in your hand, it's fabulous. And that's why I like to use a little bit more bourbon initially. It just lets the drink last a little bit longer.
It's so good, y'all. This really is one of my favorites.
So easy too. It's really easy.
Super, super easy. And trust me, making these sugar crystals is super easy. It's pretty much a no-brainer. It's just, you gotta let them sit for a couple days to get really, really hard.
Yep, so have fun with it, make your old fashions, use the kind of liquor that you like to use. I would make mine with scotch. Like I said, if you want to make it with whiskey, that's fine. I also think you can make it with a tequila. Okay, you can use a good tequila, a drinking tequila that you would use. You could put a little bit of salt in there, or if you have, like we have a chili bitter somewhere, use the smoked chili bitters. Garnish it with a little bit of a lime instead of the orange. It's still going to be delicious. All right.
And the other thing was, Jason set all these little things out. Last time we talked, we told y'all that if you don't know what you like yet, sometimes it's a really good idea to go to the liquor store and buy a bunch of these minis, and then you can try different alcohols for a pretty inexpensive price and figure out which ones you like, because everybody has their own taste. Everybody has different tastes, right? If you're not familiar with bourbon, not familiar with whiskey, not familiar with tequila, whatever, get yourself a bunch of little minis, figure out what you like, and then that's what you would buy in the bigger bottle. Or go somewhere that does tastings. That's really cool too.
I think we actually went through bourbon country and tasted a lot.
We did.
That's how we came up with
That's a good trip, y'all. Go through Kentucky area and go to all the distilleries. That's a fun trip.
Last fun fact, and then we'll let y'all go. I'm not sure this is true. I've read this, but I haven't been able to confirm this. The story goes that the original use of the old fashioned was they would serve it in the morning after a long night of drinking. It was a good get rid of your hangover drink. I don't know if that one's true though. All right, y'all.
All right.
Super easy, super delicious, old fashioned. Make it how you like.
All right. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight, y'all. We'll see y'all next Friday night again, right here at 6 o'clock. Every single Friday night, it's time to drink